when you first started the Warped Tour, and it was primarily a punk fest, right? Punk rock in corporate sponsorships, no matter how hip they were, didn't necessarily come to mind in the same sentence. How have you managed to bridge that gap between corporate sponsors and their agendas and rock music?
Well, when we started out, it was always everyone had their skateboards. F Corporate America was on everyone's skateboards. I wore the shirts. But then I started realizing that we're all spending money in this world. We're all buying corporate stuff. I started understanding. So, fans, it was pretty much a simple thing. I figured that if I can go get some money from these guys, I could have a good time putting on festivals with my friends, to be honest. And it was tough because think about the first Warped Tour. Before I got that van sponsorship, and this was a thing, my ex-partners all got stuck in an airport runway because they had convinced me, because I was desperate. I had just gotten Pennywise and No Effects. All of a sudden, that credibility of this tour was starting to come because the bands forced that. The agents didn't want it to happen. The bands wanted to be part of my tour. They're ready to go. I'm broke. Vans wasn't signed up. They went to New York. They had convinced me that Calvin Klein would have been a good sponsor of the Warped Tour. I wish I had that drawing. My wife was a scenographic artist, and she did. I would have put it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame exhibit.
Classic.
The Calvin Klein Warped Tour on a ramp. They got stuck in a big snowstorm. Fortuitous timing again. Big snowstorm. Only good thing David Kotatko ever did was screw up that meeting. He could screw up anything, but he helped me screw up that meeting because I think for Vans came forward on that thing. And Vans came together that day while they were stuck in the blizzard.
Wow.
And it became the Vans Warped Tour. Vans was a little bit of a sell because we didn't let Vans come up. And now you see them on everything.
Yeah.
But I told him, you have to ease into this world. And it came from Steve Van Doren, one of the most awesome marketers in the world. He came out on the road. They couldn't put their banners on stage or anything. I said, that's the domain of the bands. I can't force them. And even that first year, No Effects went out of their way to wear Airwalk. But what he did was he outsmarted everyone, and he made these socks, which I'm wearing like a session sock right here with the band on it. What he did was he realized that everyone shot up at the stage, and everyone was wearing those big baggy skate shorts at that point. So he made socks with the Vans band on them and passed out socks. And if you look at every photo from those like 96, 97 tours, it was shot up at the stage, and everyone's wearing Vans because what do you need? Underwear and socks.
Yeah.
He didn't give away underwear because no one's going to walk around. Well, a few people walk around in their underwear.
Yeah.
But, the socks thing was his branding. Yeah. And eventually it was, we were talking about aPpKVg earlier. aPpKVg, he really became friends with them and started supporting them. And one time I look up on the stage and there was this little red Vans banner playing behind him. We've eased into it. And with the lack of tour support, now, fast forward 19 years, I book a band. And let's say it's one of your bands, Steve, and me and you can have a phone call. It's all confirmed. The next call you're making is to my sponsorship team to see who you can work with out on the road. Because bands don't get the tour support they used to get to kind of get down the road. So you got to sell T-shirts. You got to do this. Anytime you see a band working with a brand out on Warped Tour, it's not necessarily because they love the brand. It's because we've carved out dollars within our deals to support those bands. So, because I always say, if you got a brand working with your, and it was always like, do a poster, do custom artwork. So we would do Shepherd Ferry posters designed for Kia, and then put the Kia car somewhere in there, but put the band in there, have the band sign the poster. That's going on your wall. That's smart branding. Take a step back with your branding. So it was a lot of times I would have to sit there with these brands. I never thought I'd be in that world. But take a step back and win the hearts of the fan with your brands. And, we find, and why we've worked with Monster Energy or Kia now for many, many years. We have a young demo for a car advertiser, but they're finding that kids get very loyal because they're having fun. Warped Tour is a fun thing. They get special acoustic sets. They do all these things with it. So it is a very complicated way we do it. And there's a lot of brands we say, no, we can't. We've had to turn down because they want to push it too much.
It's interesting how it's all changed here because when we started, it was just no self-respecting rock band would do it. But yet today, we've talked to so many bands, Imagine Dragons, Fun, and Group Love, where being involved with it, so a commercial, your music is a backdrop, something is becoming a legitimate and powerful tool of exposing music to people in places where they are instead of worrying about why they're not on K-Rock or your favorite radio station and so forth.
The songs stick in your head, and you might go buy the single. When we're more in a single-driven business. Where if your song is placed in the right place, everyone who wants that single, and you might get a royalty check. If you have the right deal nowadays, you might get that royalty check if you sell enough singles.
No, it's really a different world out here.